wow, do we have a solstice in store for us. This December 21st solstice is not our average solstice. It is much more mystical than a normal solstice. It's also got Parvati, who's bringing in sex magic and sacred union magic into the mix. What I like about this one is that it's like sex transmutation. Did you ever read that book back in the day? What was it? Think and Grow Rich. I remember there was a chapter in there on sex transmutation and how to use sexual energy to essentially get what you want, right? To manifest things. That's alive and well during the solstice. I'll talk about that a little bit more. Practices, how you can kind of open up to that, like that magnetism or working with that energy in a way that is beyond just having a really good time with it, which is also fun too. But we'll talk about how we can maybe step into some more of the magic around that aspect. Also want to talk about the fact that this particular solstice is ridiculously karmic. Ridiculously karmic. Let me just say that one more time. What does that mean? Ridiculously karmic. It's like some of your karma, what it is that you came into this life with, some of the heavy, dense baggage you came into this life with, some of the things that you're wanting to work through in this life, right? Can be things like ancestral conditioning, ancestral lineages, can be things like past life memories, can be things like you were just destined for. You want to think in terms of like destiny. It's your destiny. This line, this true north line, this karmic dharmic line, which is north node, south node, this particular line is square to the sun. It's square to the sun for the solstice. This is lit up. It means it's lit up. This is a destined time. We're going to want to bring, here's something that I can give you as like a practice. We're going to want to bring more consciousness to, that's the sun squaring the nodes of fate, consciousness, conscious self is the sun. Bring consciousness, just your attention, your intention to greater thinking about your path. That's number one. That's like number one. Bring your consciousness, your intention, bring time, effort, energy, awareness, practice, meditation practice, have conversations around what is my destiny? What am I aiming for? What am I aiming toward? What is my true north path? What is it that is really calling to me? What is it that really lights me up? That's really, 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 really powerful the days before, during, and just after the solstice. One of the greatest things that we're going to be able to do is to attune to that, So feel into what would support you. Maybe it's reflective questions, journaling. Maybe it's talking to a really good soul friend. You want to think about someone who does not. This is also a very psychically open time. Psychic hygiene is going to be really important. So you're going to want to talk to and have people around you that do not have their own agendas. Do not have their own agenda, their own hooks, their own massive projections on you, because we are going to be very psychically open during this particular solstice. I think let's talk a little bit about that. I want to give us some practices around that. This is kind of like theme number 2, is this psychically open. I want to use the word psychic sponge. I think that's going to resonate with some of you all, like a psychic sponge to certain things. We want to feel into what would support you around psychic hygiene during this time. Neptune can create a bit of mystical madness. Some of the mystical madness, or an aspect of mystical madness, can be very watery boundaries, very confused as to what's what, whose is what, is this mine, is this theirs, I'm feeling this, it must mean that I am, da-da-da. Can you feel that? Like, even just talking in that way makes me want to throw up in my mouth and like quickly do some wildly potent psychic hygiene practices. Now, I just shared a psychic hygiene practice, which is a very interesting one, and it's not going to be for everybody, but I just shared one over on Instagram and in our previous YouTube video. Actually, I'm not going to share it here. If you want to watch it, we'll put a link up here. It was like a quick 5-minute thing, and it's very powerful during this moment in time. So if you're interested in doing that psychic hygiene practice, go for it. But let me share a few other things to feel into for self is how do you clear your aura? How do you clear your space? How do you clear your psyche? How do you clear your energy field? I love Carolyn Mace. Love her. I think she is one of the wizened elders in mystical traditions, in spirituality, in God stuff at this moment in time, who's still alive and who's still walking on this planet. She's been talking about we are just starting to barely understand our energy field, our energy bodies. We have no idea who we are. We have no idea. We have all these sciences, but it's all around just one layer of our body, the physicality of our body, the ones that we have instruments that can measure shit to. There's a lot of instruments we do not have for a lot of things in our system that we cannot measure yet. And that's so funny. And I think that's so beautiful. I think that's so beautiful. I think that's something so important to remember, because many of us, we are responding to things that are not measurable yet. And we're being told that they're not real because we don't have the science developed to measure them yet. Just feel into that for yourself. This is one of those moments in time where projections are going to get through our boundaries a little bit more, where we're going to be a little bit more open. And there's really good stuff around this too. So I want to talk about like the positive, amazing ways to work with this. We're going to be more open to the collective, right? The collective psyche, the collective energies. We're going to be more open to other people's energy, more open to environment energies, earth energies, ley line energies, song line energies. We're going to be more open to that. So feel into what you need to do. And just even if it's like every day or a couple times a day, just check in, like how clear do I feel? How clear does my psyche feel? Have I absorbed something? Have I taken on something? Is there something sitting in my field that I need to cleanse out and release out? Maybe feel for you, what are your protections, your bubble of protections, sort of a things. Something that I love doing, I'll share this little practice with you. You feel for you what serves, but it's like there's so much light moving through, so much light moving through, so much soul light, right? Soul light, grace, divinity, spirit that moves through, so much light and so much love that moves through me that it just whoosh, blasts everything out. So it's not like I have to like mirror back something gooey coming at me. It's just like whoosh, untouchable. Right? Untouchable. Try that practice. Could be really powerful as something that switches on for you during the solstice. All right. Now I want to talk about the spiritual, sacred technologies or spiritual technologies switching on during this solstice. This is such a good time to be, to be opening up the mind, right? We have this psychic openness that's going on. It's also this spiritual openness that's going on. So to be giving ourselves an opportunity to meditate on, to practice with, to do new explorations into our own spiritual paths, right? To do new explorations into our own spiritual paths that switch on the spiritual technology that's meant to switch on in us. This is wildly powerful, wildly powerful. The things that can switch on right now, the accessibility that other realms have to download new technology in us is unbelievable during the solstice. You might want to rewind that part and listen to that again. The accessibility, the openness, it's like we are able to access, we are able to be open to, we are able to receive, we're able to receive technologies that we normally couldn't receive. We are able to receive spiritual wisdoms that we were not able to receive. We are not normally able to receive during this moment in time. I'm telling you what, if you have any opportunity to just like meditate your butt off, practice your butt off, go on like spiritual journeys, do some spiritual workshops, some spiritual retreats, whatever it is that you're called to over like the 4 days, right? Around the 21st, like 2 days before, 2 days after the 21st, do it. Go for it. Really and truly. I know we're in the holiday season for most of us. I know, a lot of us celebrate Christmas. A lot of us, we got a lot going on, whatever. I am telling you what, this is not a time to like be crazy busy and super chaotically busy. And I know that we have things to do, and yes, do those things, enjoy them, love them, but make time for self, quiet time for self, get still, get silent, really feel into what spiritual practice supports me right now. What spiritual practice supports me right now? If you have no idea, there are 7 holiday rewilding offers. They are all spiritual practices. They all open up new sacred technology in you. All of them. Every single one of those 7 offers opens up sacred technology in you. Every one of them. One of them is sacred sexuality. One of them is rewilding your relationships. That opens up sacred union. It opens up relationship technology within yourself and within others, right? Another one is body wisdom activation. Opens up the body wisdom within self, right? We talk about Shakti and life force and how do I open up to more of this feminine embodied wisdom in myself. That's the one to do for that. There's also IX. That is the biggest, deepest, most magical, wildest program, right? That is a year long. It is 36 sacred energy activations with 36 deities, 36 archetypal energies. Anyways, yada, 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 yada. Those are some things that you can feel into. They also might just be a list to go look at and go, what is it that's singing to me? Even if it's not rewilding sacred sexuality, but you see it and you're like, there's something there for me. There's something there for me. Or like you see body wisdom activation. Maybe that's not for you, but you're like, there's something in this like Shakti word that you're saying, Sabrina, or this life force word that I'm reading here. There's something here. So maybe you need like a buffet list of things to feel into. Right? Maybe you need, or maybe you're like womb wisdom. I just know womb wisdom. I know womb mysteries. For me, it's like archetypes. What are the archetypes that are really loud? Like for me, Chinnamasta. The mysteries held in Chinnamasta. That to me is one of the greatest spiritual practices right now is Chinnamasta. Chinnamasta, like the removal of the head, the life force, the sacred union weaving in my body, right? The energetics, the magic of the sacred union, the divine feminine, the divine masculine woven together in my body, moving through me without my head in the way to be given out beyond myself into the world in all of my creations, right? Like, that's one of the sacred technologies that I'm currently working with. So is IX. Those of you who are in IX or the immersion experience, those of you who are doing the archetypes, Chinnamasta is December. Chinnamasta is in December. So if that sings to you, maybe IX is for you. That's also part of holiday promotions at the moment. You can go read more about that below. But feel for you. What wants to switch on? What spiritual technology wants to switch on in you? I am telling you what, we are so supported. We are so supported by, right? This either the lightest day of the year, the darkest day of the year. We are so supported. I'm going to give you all the reasons why we're so supported for this. Because the sun is square to the nodes of fate. We're so supported. The sun is square to the nodes of fate. We are so supported because Neptune is square to the Galactic Center. The sun just went over the Galactic Center. Galactic Center, if you were to feel within yourself, your own Galactic Center is being lit up by the mystic. It's Neptune. Neptune is the great spiritual awakener. Neptune is the great spiritual awakener. You literally have the great spiritual awakener hitting your sun. Just hit your sun. We just had the full moon. Hit your emotional body, hit your conscious self. That's the sun. Your emotional body is the moon. So Neptune squared the moon. Neptune squared the sun. Neptune squares the Galactic Center at the moment, right? Neptune is square to this solstice. Neptune's at 27 degrees. The solstice is the sun moving into Capricorn at 0 degrees. They are still in a square, right? Neptune's moving onto the north node. That's your dharma. That's your greatest expression of self in this life. You literally have the great spiritual awakener, dissolving your ego, dissolving your little self so that you can open up to your greatest self. Let me dissolve your false self for your true self. Let me dissolve your little self-absorbed conditioned self to wake you up to the greatest expression of you that you can possibly be. Now, waking up to the greatest expression that you can possibly be, yeah, that sounds great. You're like, okay, blah, blah, spiritual, esoteric-y shit, Sabrina, whatever. Do you know that that is what will make you the happiest in life? It is the thing that will bring you fulfillment. It will bring you purpose. It will bring you happiness, joy, all the things that we crave on these like lower human levels, and bless our human selves. Fuck yeah, we need to have these desires. Like, I'm craving to be happy. I'm craving to be loved. I'm craving to have a good relationship. I'm craving to have some really great sex. I'm craving to have some really good food for holidays. Whatever the heck it is that we're craving, right? That alignment piece, it satisfies those human desires we have, and bless those human desires that we have, because they point to the true north. They point to it. The ones that are truly, genuinely, authentically linked to you, not the ones that you got from your mom. Not the ones that you got from the collective telling you need to buy the next greatest fucking Bojangle thing that's on sale for fucking Black Friday, right? Not that. Not from true core self, those desires, whether they're on a human level and you feel like, wow, I just am desiring like more intimacy in my relationship. It's pointing to something. And if that's a deep, true desire, not because, you saw that on Instagram or someone's telling you that that's what you want to have, but it's really core to you, that's a signpost. Now, this is the next theme I want to go into around the solstice, is the signposts. There are signposts right now. Pay attention to the signposts, the breadcrumb trail to your true north. What is the next step? We don't need 10 steps. We don't often get 10 steps at all when it comes to our dharma, at all when it comes to our spiritual path, our soul path, our highest path forward, right? Our true callings, our purpose in life. It's the next step, right? The next step. So looking out for those. What are someone was sharing these words. I love this. A friend of mine, the sparks of light in the dark. It's a really good imagery for solstice. It's a really good, you could do a meditation into that. Sparks of light in the dark. If I'm in the darkest, I'm in the northern hemisphere. So this is the longest night. It's the darkest day of the year. And so I just let the whole darkness descend. What are the sparks of light? Like, I literally, my mind just sees a little symbol of a spark of light. And for me, we bring that into our bodies, right? For me, it's about the embodiment of it. It's about the living of it. And so I see the symbol and I go, what is that symbolic of in my life? This just lights me up. This is just a spark, and I'm going to follow that spark, right? I'm going to follow that spark. Maybe you saw like a couple making love, right? And you're like, I don't know, I just saw a couple making love. Well, it's a spark. It's a spark, and you follow that spark. You're like, okay, let me deepen into that spark. Like, what is the step? What am I being pulled to? What am I being called to? What's pulling on my heartstrings? What's tugging on my heartstrings? Now, with Neptune in the mix, you want to think, what's tugging on my higher heartstrings? Venus would be the lower heartstrings. Neptune is the higher heartstrings. What's tugging on your higher heartstrings? Your spiritual heart. Let whatever it is tug on your higher heartstrings. That's a really good practice, some really good imagery that you can do. Higher heart can be right here. You can work with it right here. Just tap this area, right? It's above like heart. This would be like heart chakra. It could be like here, wherever. But just above it, like right here, higher heart. And then you can just tap it alive. It's really helpful to tap it alive, actually, because we don't bring a whole lot of consciousness here typically. You just kind of tap that alive, and you're like, all right, higher heart, spiritual heart. And it's like, what? And you just deepen into a meditation. What is tugging at my higher heartstrings? What's singing my higher heartstrings? What's lighting up my higher heartstrings? That's crazy powerful for this particular solstice. All right, I want to shift gears a little bit, and I want to talk about the witch. Yes, Hekate. If any of you have ever worked with Hekate, right? Hekate, the mysteries held within Hekate. Queen of the witches, midwifery. She's also womb wisdom. She's also blood mysteries, right? Hekate is in a very positive aspect to the sun, the solstice, right? She's in a sextile to the sun. So this is beneficial. This is beautiful. And it's almost like the queen of the witches and Hekate bringing in this moment in time. The word that I'm getting is just real rebirth, right? She's midwife. She's midwife to souls, womb wisdom, creation. You want to think like creation. You want to think like cosmic womb, right? And you can feel into what is it that's being rebirthed, the rebirthing process. This can lead to really, really powerful experiences, really extraordinary experiences of possibly rebirthing yourself, rebirthing yourself anew, rebirthing your life anew. This might be something you're very called to work with. You're very called to. It's like the renewal, the regeneration, the rebirthing process. She's bringing that in to a greater degree in this solstice because of where she's at in the astrology. Powerful. If you're an IX, you have Hekate. You have that archetypal embodiment, that activation of Hekate Shakti. Now is a good time to revisit that if you've already gone into it. If you're not an IX, again, the details are below. You can get all of those journeys, and Hekate is one of the 36 archetypal journeys, archetypal activations, sacred energy activations held within that year-long program. Okay, let me feel into, I want to talk a little bit more about, this could feel like a moment in time where you, okay, I'm going to shift gears here. Sorry. I'm looking at my notes over here. These are my like weird, wild notes. I know, they're so silly. I should take a picture of these maybe. Maybe I'll take a picture of them, like throw them up on our Instagram stories or something, because it might bring us something. Who knows? But this is an interesting piece that we probably won't be hearing a lot about out there in other astrology conversations or solstice conversations. Black Moon Lilith. Black Moon Lilith is opposite Chiron on the solstice. I like this. It could also be wounds. It could also be healing. It could also, if you were to feel into, remember we were just talking about Hekate, we're like Queen of the Witches. She's considered to be a dark goddess. She holds like deeper, more hidden mysteries in the feminine. Black Moon Lilith holds very deep mysteries in the feminine. So very deep mysteries in the feminine, sitting in opposition to Chiron, who hold shamanic wisdom, shamanic mysteries, who hold wounds, healing of the wounds, who is wisdom keeper, like wisdom wisens you, initiates you into your wisdom, often through wounds. He's wounded healer. So you have him, and then you have these deep, sacred, feminine mysteries sitting there on the same line. So both are kind of wanting to open up, and you can feel this, if you were to do that kind of like deep, dark meditation, because for me, again, I'm in the Northern Hemisphere, so I'm just going to give you that because that's really what I'm holding and embodying at the moment because it's what I'm in. And so if it was like dark, and I would go like, take me deeper into the deeper feminine mysteries, the deeper, more hidden feminine mysteries. And then I would, also work with Chiron. By the way, all of these things are in IX too, right? So you have Chiron in IX. We also have Lilith in IX, right? All of these archetypal energies are in there as activating them, as journeying into them, awakening these sacred energies and these sacred technologies within yourself. But you don't have to do IX. I can just talk you through it a little bit, and you can kind of like dip a toe into it or meditate in your own way in it, however you want to work with these things. But you would deepen in, and I would, in that darkest of the dark night, I would really say like Lilith mysteries. What are the Lilith mysteries that want to awaken in me? And then I would go to Chiron, and I would go, what are the shamanic, chironic mysteries that want to awaken in me? What is the? Do you see how this is leading back to sacred technologies that want to awaken in us? Sacred technologies that want to awaken in us. They're not just these sacred technologies that seem all, like expanded into the higher realms. Yep. There are amazing mysteries in the heights. And those are open for sure during the solstice. But there are amazing mysteries in the depths. And these are the ones that we often miss. These are the ones that are going to change our lives. The mysteries in the depths, they open up our capacity to embody it, to ground it in, and to make it manifest. The mysteries in the depths. And when I was just talking about Lilith, Black Moon Lilith, Hekate, Chiron, the mysteries in the depths, this is the stuff that actually changes our world. This is the stuff that actually changes your career, changes your relationship, changes your sex life, changes the amount of money you have in your bank. It's those. They're in the deeper aspects of self. That's where the big, like the earth beneath you shifts when you start working in those territories. And this solstice is pointing straight at that, with the gift of Neptune dissolving self so you can get there. dissolving the structures, the rigidity, the blocks, the ways that you identify with your ego self, so you can't go deeper, or you can't go higher, or you can't widen out into greater expansion of self. Powerful moment in time. All right, I will end it on one last little thing, because I did want to talk a little bit more about sex transmutation and the capacity to work with your raw, pure sexual energy. So here's something that I'll share here is when you start to work with sacred sexuality, right? You start to work with sex magic. You start to just consciously work. You're like, I don't know, I'm just called. What is this energy? One of the first tips I can give you, like 101, sacred sexuality 101, it is raw, pure essence of your sexual energies. Raw, pure essence. Take the word sexual out of there. Raw, pure essence of your life force. Raw, pure essence of your creative force. Raw, pure essence of that. But do not take it out of your sexuality. Like, it is a part of your sexuality. It is not linked to having to have sex. Sex magic doesn't have to be anything to do with having to have sex. Your sexual energy, your capacities to transmute your sexual energy doesn't have to have anything to do with sex at all, ever, not at all. That is not it. And so it's really like, can I see my sexual energy as this enormous gift in myself? Can I see this as just the raw, pure essence of life force that it is, as the raw, pure, creative essence that it is? Can I take the shame out, the judgment out? Can I take the pain, the blocks, the ways that I like repress it, suppress it, hold it back, do all kinds of wild things to it? That would be number one that I would say. And I think that that's a lifelong journey, right? I think this is a lifelong journey, because to me, like, I'm always opening to more, always releasing more blocks to more of that, releasing more judgments to more of that in myself. And then the releasing of more of that in myself, and the releasing of the thoughts and the frameworks of what I thought it was for, or what I was told it was for, releasing that and just being so open to, like, you know what? Actually, this should pour into my work. Actually, this should pour into this conversation. My sexual energy is never not in a conversation. Whenever my sexual energy is not moving through a conversation on a podcast, I end up having to start over again, because the juice isn't there. The juice isn't there. And to me, it has nothing to do with, pleasure or orgasm or like sexing with you, right? At all. But there's this potency to it. There's a Shakti to it, right? There's this aliveness to it. And it brings this conversation, to me, that brings this conversation alive more. It like weaves the divine with the juice that allows it to ripple out to a different degree. It creates more. It is a creative force. And my hope, my aim, my intention, what I hold with everything that I do is that that creative force somehow gifts you in a deeper way than if that wasn't there. Then if that life force essence wasn't there, it wouldn't gift in that deep way. Feel into that. If you want to work with that sacred sexuality, that's on in the holiday specials. Rewilding Your Relationships also touches into that. That's in the holiday specials. Dragon Sessions is really good right now. Like, if there was only one program that I could recommend during this moment in time, this solstice, I would recommend Dragon Sessions. I think that one's 50% off in the holiday specials. It opens you up to that divine union that I was talking about, right? This sex magic, this divine union, this bringing the divine feminine together with the divine masculine and opening up to the third energy, that third energy, and how we are creating with that third energy. Also how you're creating with that sexual energy, but that third energy takes you to creation, creating with the creator and opening up to that capacity within self. All right, my gosh, I wish you a massively amazing, beautiful solstice. I hope this has served. I would love to see you in the comments if there's anything that you want to share, your favorite part of this, which ones lighten you up, what do you want to hear more of, if there's a topic that I touched on that you want to hear more on, like Sabrina, sex magic, we want more sex magic, like 101, sex was great, but give me like 201, 301, 401, I don't know. But would love to hear from you all. I'm always there the first couple of days after an episode comes out. If some of those holiday offers sing to you, they're happening now. They're not up for very long, limited time, I think until the 31st. But working with them during the solstice is going to be wildly potent and powerful. Come the 24th, we have the square between Saturn and Jupiter. That is going to lock things down. is going to slow things down. That's why I'm saying the 2 days before the solstice and the 2 days after are really powerful. Come the 24th, kind of miss the window. All right. Huge love to you all. Happy solstice. I'll see you when I see you, where I see you, and how I see you.